Hare Krishna. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of descriptions of the presence of the Supreme Lord, His great devotees who are still there, the Mother Ganga and great sages all over the universe. But how many of them do we see? Do we see anyone? We are not aware. Pradyumna, Aniruddha, all the four directions, the Lord is there, and so many personalities, so many different, or even the Tulsi plant. We see her just as a plant, but she is a great devotee. Actually, the universe is permeated with the supreme presence of the Lord. Everything is so personal, but we don't see it. We see only matter, right? Our consciousness is steeped in material. We'll see only material things right now, right? And from here we have to shift our reality. This is our sense of reality. Our sense of reality is there are mountains, there are trees, everything is matter, everything around. Even we see people, we see them as bodies. We see ourselves also as bodies, completely material. From here our sense of reality has to shift to where there is God everywhere. We see God. Everywhere is only God. There is nowhere I want to see something without God. I can't see. Everywhere is only Krishna. That is the real, true sense of reality. We have to shift our reality to that. And that requires a change in our identity. Mainly because now what is our identity? I'm the master. In fact, master, complete master. We want to believe that I'm in control of everything. Everything goes according to what I want, and everyone should listen to me. So even to Krishna, we wish that Krishna will fulfill all my desires the way I want it. Right? We want Krishna to listen to what we want. Do we ever ask Krishna, what do you want? Do you ask? Hari? Do you ask Krishna, what do you want? But we never ask him. Or even food, cooking, what do I like? I'll cook and give him. Right? It's always I am the center. So this is our identity as a master. And from here, we have to shift to a place where we are completely dependent on him. Completely. Totally his servant. That's our real identity. So this is the thing. And why is this? Actually, we are not separated from Krishna at all. Krishna is there within our heart, within every pore of our body. Krishna is there as Paramatma. Everywhere around Krishna is there. Krishna is standing here now. We can't see him. He must be watching all of us. But we can't see him. And so we have a sense of separateness from him. We think we are separated from him. And because of that, we feel also disconnected from other people. We don't feel that oneness. Right? A self-realized soul, one who can see Krishna, who feels very connected with Krishna, will feel connected with everyone. There's no difference. He feels love for everyone. And now everything also. But now what has happened is we feel a sense, it's not real that we are separated from him. It's only imaginary. We have a sense of separateness from him, but actually we are not separated from him. So, when we remove this sense of separatedness, then we will be in complete bliss. When we feel connected, we feel completely, just imagine, because the Supreme Lord is everything, and you feel one with him, you're not the Supreme Lord, but you're one with him, you're connected with him, then you feel connected to everything. You don't feel as if you're a tiny, minuscule living entity, insignificant. That's what we are. We should feel humble. Actually, we are insignificant. We are nothing. What are we? When you fly up in the air, when you go by flight, you can see, what is this? All these tiny matchboxes. Somewhere in one tiny house I'm living. And there are ocean, just vast areas of so many different houses.
Just leave him alone, Prabhu, leave him for some time. Let him do what he wants. No? After some time, he will settle down. Every time you stop him, he wants to do more. Yeah, continue.
Vast sea of houses, so much of humanity. And what am I? We feel, troubled. I'm just one small soul. What does it matter if I live or die? Right? And that is really our position. We really don't matter. When we identify with our body and we are disconnected from Krishna, what the worth of us is, how many rupees? Somebody calculated the cost of our, when we die, the cost of our body. If you sell it, what will you get for all the skeleton and all the organs? If you sell it to a laboratory, You'll get some 700 rupees or something, get calculated. No, how much is it? So that's the worth of that's how much we are worth. But we are so proud about our body. And what to speak about us? Even a person like Arjuna, he was really qualified and he was a great warrior and belonging to such a great dynasty and everything. And to him also Krishna just chastised him. What are you thinking? You're not the body at all. You're a fool to think you're a body. So it is not that whenever the body is not nice, we think we are not the body. And the body is very nice also, you're not the body. You're not the body at all. And we have to really, and in that platform only, we can really be happy. So people are very afraid to think.
Don't worry about him, okay? Whole week you're thinking about him, now you leave him alone.
No, I'm thinking about him, I'm not thinking about him.
Leave me to think about him. You just concentrate on the class. He can manage, no? He's a devotee, born devotee, so he'll manage. Yeah.
So why don't we want to think that we are not the body? We get very disturbed that, oh, that means there is nothing, no happiness, nothing to do, no enjoyment. What kind of life is that? Why would I want to be not the body? But actually, when you connect with Krishna, you have everything, unlimited happiness. Just imagine, Krishna's sense of enjoyment is unlimited. Any small thing, he makes varieties. Just one fruit, one flower you see, how many varieties are there? The mango season comes, and then in the Lal Bagh they have thousands, hundreds at least, not thousands, hundreds of varieties of mangoes. Can you imagine? Just one thing. Or insects, hundreds of varieties. So his sense of enjoyment is just unlimited. And when we connect with Krishna, we get unlimited enjoyment. And we don't have to think. We don't have to, the only attitude should be that I'm his servant. That's all. A servant gets to enjoy as much as the master when he lives in the same house. The palace, all the people who are serving the king also are enjoying great luxury. So in the same way, when the only consciousness has to change from being a sense of separate identity from the Lord, and when we have a separate identity, then we have a separate plan for ourselves. We're always thinking, oh, I wish all these things would be in this particular way, then how happy I can be. But instead, and then we feel very disturbed when things don't go the way we want. We're always anxious. Anxiety is because we have all these desires and then things don't go the way we want, and we are very, very anxious. And so for this, Krishna has got a solution in the Bhagavad Gita. How to become peaceful? Yes. Maheshwaram. Suridam Sarva Bhutvanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Vichati. So when we are desiring, instead of asking ourselves, what do I want? And our shopping list never ends, right? Big list, and it'll keep on. Okay, suppose Krishna says, ask what you want. Then imagine, we'll start writing this. There's so many things. Then we think, oh, did I miss out anything? Let me write everything. This is the chance of a lifetime. Let me ask him everything. And it will never end. But that's what it is. How much ever we have, if we are doing according to our desires, we'll never be satisfied. On the other hand, simple thing is, ask Krishna what he wants. Then will you feel anxiety? That's Krishna's desire, he'll fulfill it. I just have to be an instrument, that's all. And you can relax. Isn't it? Life is all enjoyment, but you're not the enjoyer. Krishna says, who's the enjoyer? I'm the enjoyer, Bhoktaram. So once you understand, otherwise we feel, maybe that person is enjoying more than me. Imagine I'm saying, okay, I'll be a devotee, I'll give up this. But why she's devotee and she's enjoying? And then we feel very jealous, isn't it? So that's why Krishna says, you're not even enjoyer. I'm the only enjoyer. All we can enjoy only in doing service to him. And through that, out of love, Krishna also gives us. But what is most enjoyable is not what he gives and we enjoy. The love that he gives us and the love that we feel, that reciprocation, that is the enjoyment. That is Krishna Prema. That's the topmost enjoyment. Now, right now we don't have Krishna Prema. We think all these other things are more enjoyable, and so we are suffering. And so that is what. And this kind of understanding is the topmost, where you really and without even thinking, I'm not this body, and doing tapasya, denying the body, doing austerities, penance, and forgetting the body. what all people have to do to forget that they are not the body, right? In earlier times, they'll sit in the big circle of fire in the summer. They'll sit under in the middle of that and suffer. Body will be undergoing so much. Imagine sitting in even without the fire, we suffer. So in the fire, a circle of fire, you sit during the hot season, and body will be undergoing great pain. But they'll say, "I'm not the body. I'm not the body." Just to forget that you're not the body, you have to undergo so much of austerities or deny yourself food, water, to forget you're the body. Why all those difficulties? Krishna says, don't go through all that torture. Just love me, you'll forget you're the body. Right? So, and so this is what it is. And you really can be so happy. That's how we can see Guru Maharaj as a complete example of how happy he was, even though his body was going through difficulties. He said, I'm not this body. People would say, Guru Maharaj, please have this medicine. I'm not the body. And then say, no, but you have, because you are in this body. And they'll kill him. So, I mean, he really, whatever happened, he had this complete realization. His reality was, I'm not this body. So he didn't suffer, go through any pain. And all our suffering is only because we think we are this body. The minute we realize we are not this body, we are part of Krishna, all suffering ends. All misery also ends. Actually, Guru Maharaj was mentioning in one lecture, just listening, an old lecture, but he was in Orissa, he was having a class, and one person came to him and he said that I'm very grateful to you because you gave me the Hare Krishna mantra, I'm so happy. And Guru Maharaj noticed that he doesn't have any fingers. So he said, what happened? He said, no, I got leprosy. And I had leprosy, you gave me the Harinam, I chanted and my leprosy went away. And Guru Maharaj thought maybe it's a coincidence. We don't go like, we chant so that leprosy will go away. Just happened, maybe leprosy anyway went away. He was not so sure. Then next day another man came. And he also told Guru Maharaj, you gave me Hare Krishna mantra, now I'm very happy. Then he noticed that he doesn't have toes. He said, what happened to you? He said, I had leprosy, I chanted and it went away. Leprosy went away. So then Guru Maharaj said, see, if you surrender to Krishna, not with the idea of so that my leprosy will go, the difficulties will go away, but you just chant because it's your natural dharma to be connected to him, to be a servant, automatically karmas go away. Because, definitely all those suffering is because we have some bad karmas. And so easily it went away just by chanting. So establishing the relationship with Krishna is of the most importance. Not doing all these small things. That's why we think we don't know the truth. We don't know the reality. That's why we love our children. We want to give them the best, but we don't know what's the best. That's why we give them all wrong things. If we understood what is the real good thing for them, we'll immediately give them, connection with Krishna is the topmost. I don't even have to worry about my child anymore. That's it. Krishna will take care of him. How much we can take care? In earlier times when they had more God consciousness and faith, they had many children also, where the fathers and mother went around looking after the children. They'll be running around somewhere, all over the place, dangerous things they'll be doing. Somehow they'll be protected. Right? Prabhupada's mother, it seems, just to protect Prabhupada, what did she do? She started eating with her left hand. She said, till the day Prabhupada, my son, asked me why I'm eating from the left hand, I will eat in the left hand. So, because just for protection. So, they had this faith in Krishna, and that's how, otherwise living in, at least here, there are no insects, reptiles and all roaming around. If there were snakes in the garden and all, we'll be terrified. What will happen to my children? But those days, all those things existed. Scorpions would fall down from the roof, and then there'll be snakes wandering around. And still parents had that faith in Krishna, and whatever happened, happened. And it is a fact, the universe is completely controlled by Krishna. He is there at everywhere. We don't see him. And when we connect with him, then we feel completely protected. Of course, we need to pray also. Not that, okay, anyway, Krishna is taking care, so I don't need to pray. He himself will take care. It's not like that. It's a relationship. So you show your love to him, you pray to him, your sincerity, and also your dependence, complete dependence on him, and he will completely take care of you. That's all. So simple. And everything else becomes easy, even your studies. Even for children, so many children have said how simply because of chanting, they study so well. They're very peaceful. They don't have bad habits. They don't get influenced by bad company. Everything because of chanting and becoming a devotee. So this is what we must give a full importance to the reality, what reality that they face, and then we can be sure that, I mean, this is the most important thing. Other things follow, and we don't have to struggle, and we can be completely happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any questions? You had a question, Bhusugan.
For doing offenses, in many places I come across